All right, attempt number 2. I'm gonna make this as quick as possible. There's a lot to say. It's a battery out of an EM 5.7. It's electric motion, electric trials bike. And it's 48 volt, nominal I guess you'd say, 13 series lithium polymer pouches, no parallel runs. So I've got it all back together. It did over discharge down to about 2 volts, which is why I'm doing this outside. Trying to give it some life back. So I've got all my voltages here. 6 months ago in the center column here, they're all around 3.5 volts. And then 6 months later, they're holding true to that. And they're still all balanced out pretty closely there. But this charger won't click in. Or I shouldn't say the charger. It's either there's a problem with the charger, or there's a problem with the contactor in here, or potentially that BMS has an issue too. I don't know enough about this stuff. So I'm just doing my best to eliminate variables and see if we can get some charge going in here. So I've essentially bypassed everything here. I've got my little digital voltmeter. We're reading pack voltage of 45.8 volts. And I've essentially just hijacked the wires once they come in from the charger. So I've got the black lead skinned a little bit there, and then bypassed the contactor to the other side of the positive, and he's clicked on right there. So this charger should put out 54.6 volts DC at 15 amps. And these little LEDs in here, this one goes red and this one goes green, and then when this thing actually starts to charge, this will go red as well. They'll both go red. And ever since I bought this bike, before I over discharged the battery, those lights would go out, the red on the right would go out to green again, and it would drop off and stop the charge. And it would do this sometimes 7 times during a full charge on the battery. So I was constantly having to go back to the garage, check on it, plug it back in, reset it, and it would run for another half hour. So I have no idea why it was doing that. Maybe I had a cell out of whack, or the safety parameters on this thing. Apparently it should charge at 30 volts, but I've already tried it and it won't at 45.8. I want to top this thing up, and I want to put some load on it with the motorbike, and I want this thing to explode or work. And I want to run it through some charge and load cycles. To do that, obviously I got to charge it first. So I'm going to step back here, plug the whole unit in, and see if bypassing the contactor and the BMS and all that, it's going to do anything. See if it's going to work or pop. All right, there we go. So, boom, right away, we got red LEDs. That's great. I don't want to get too close. I'm a bit wary of this thing. We got 2 red LEDs. So we are charging, and this thing is still, okay, 47 volts. And it looks like we got an amp, 1.3 amps of current being drawn. Excellent. You can see that there. Hard out here in the sunlight. Anyway, I'm going to keep an eye on this thing, let it run for a while, and then I'll jumper it out to the motorbike if I can get a full charge on it. I'm going to hammer some load through it, see if I can break down any copper shunts that may have formed, and then maybe try to get my hands on a better charger or something that I can put a lot of load through this thing and run it through its cycles so I know it's somewhat safe. Any advice would be appreciated. I'd be happy to provide any more information I could. Thank you very much. All right, charging check up here. I've switched my multimeters here, so probably caught it in the last video, but I had this on current at 200 amps, wavy line alternating current. We're reading direct current here from the battery, of course. So I've got this guy, got this guy now in series. So I've got him on 10 amps. And if you don't know, the little solid line with the dots underneath it, that's direct current. Wavy line, alternating current. Same up here, right? You've got your voltages, voltage AC, voltage DC. Pretty basic. Stupid mistake for myself. I'm a ticketed electrician and power lineman, so unfortunately I don't work on direct current very often, so I missed that one. Anyway, we're drawing 4.8 amps. We're up to 49 volts already, direct current. So that's good. When I plugged it in, I unplugged it to switch the meters, obviously, because this one has to be in series. The voltmeter is in parallel. So when I plugged it back in, this thing spiked right up to like 16 amps. Then it calmed down. Anyway, so we're reading whole voltage numbers here. There's no decimals on this guy. It's kind of a dumb meter, electrician's meter for basic house wiring. And this guy's a bit more sensitive, so he goes to 2 decimal places. So we'll get close, monitoring like this, and I'll put the more sensitive voltmeter, or multimeter I should say, back on the voltage, so we can bring her right up to a safe, proper voltage before we manually unplug this thing. Not 100% sure if this is going to kick out or not. If it reads 54.6 volts, it may turn itself off because of the circuitry built in. Of course, the contactor built onto this battery box was kicking it out all the time. So maybe I've got a faulty contactor, and maybe this stuff is just going to work. Maybe I'll be very lucky and I won't have to buy a $800 worth of cells to replace this 13S 25 amp hour pack, and I can go riding. Cheers. All right, been another little while here, and we're up to 53 volts, 52, 53. So we're kind of right in between there, I guess, right in the higher end of 52. And we're drawing well, you can see it there, around 8.3 amps. Everything's still chugging along, so this is great. Once I get up to tickling 54 there, I'm gonna move my ammeter over to the voltmeter so we can get a more accurate reading. I don't want to overcharge this thing, and hopefully this thing just clicks out when it hits full voltage, full pack voltage for the 13S. All right, we're back again. We let the charger soak. I got all new voltages here. So I know that with lithium polymer, 4.2 is full, but I'm up there kind of 0.15 volts away. Figured no point in taking it right to the limit. We'll see what happens when we put some load on it. Don't want to get too invested for an expensive fireworks. We'll just kind of hammer it for a little bit and see what happens. This was kind of painstaking going through it with these guys. Put little needles on here. I've got all these labeled, each cell, where I cut off the BMS. So there's that, and then I've got these jumper cables set up here. Got the bike, there it is, the Electric Motion EM 5.7, I think this is a 2014. So I got the battery box clicked in there, and then I've got the negative on the single lead there. And then I disconnected, this is kind of ghetto. So I've got a dish glove taped around the other positive end of the jumper cable, and those are actually vice grips in there, so that is on there really well. So we're going to pull a little bit of load through that connection, and if you follow that around, it just goes over there and then into the Curtis controller, or sorry, Kelly controller. So there's the serial number. Look that up later, see what it's capable of. Okay, so here we go. Got a pack voltage of 1.8 volts. 13 series cells. Here we go. Okay, so I've got the jumper cable hooked up here. It's going all the way to the negative on the controller now. And then I splashed the positive on here, and it sparked up a bit on the terminal. So I put my ammeter back in line here in series, and you can see a little spark, but it's only pulling a little over half an amp. So I'm gonna go ahead and just stick this guy right on now. Okay, and we'll see if we can get some throttle. Yep. There we go. Be nice to know what kind of load I'm pulling, but that thing only goes up to 10 amps. I guess I could throw it in series there and see. Yeah, it works. Gonna keep screwing around with this, putting more load on it, and if you can't see here, but I got safety glasses on and my fire retardant stuff, so I'm not being totally careless. I am outside. Lithium polymer cells, right? I'll keep playing. We'll see what happens. What do you guys think? Please let me know.